Hello guys, welcome back to another episode here on African Confessions. There is a message that I want to share with you guys, and the message reads like this. Hello my brother, can you please post my story as anonymous? My story goes on like this. I was married to my wife, and when I got married to my wife, I can say that I am one of the few men who can boast and say that I paid off for my wife's bride price. I had worked so hard, and me and my wife, we had started dating when she was still in college, and her parents, they were struggling to pay off her college fees. That was when I met her at that time. When I met my future wife, I was using a company car. One day I saw her. She was standing by the hiking spot. I then picked her up and I asked her where she was going to. She then told me that she was going to college, and on that day she didn't have enough money for the taxi. That is why she had came to the hiking spot. So me and her decided that we would regularly meet up at that hiking spot so that I can pick her up. I was now picking her up on a daily basis until we started dating. And as soon as we had started dating, she said that, please, can you meet with my parents? Because my parents, they are religious, and I do not want my parents to feel as if I have been keeping you as a secret. I want you to meet up with my parents. That is how I ended up meeting with my girlfriend's parents. And after I had gone there, that was when she called me one day. She was crying, and she said that her father had told her that he could not afford to take her to college anymore. This was after the college fees had been hiked, and she then stopped going to college for a while. My brother, I was a man who was in love with this girl. I then sat down and I thought about it. I said, should I take this girl so that she can become my wife? And when I looked at our family, the problem in our family is that even my parents, they were both teachers, my cousins, sisters, my brothers, and we all have been to universities. Most of us in our family, we have diplomas or degrees. So I just thought and I said, if I am going to take him, tomorrow it is going to give me a lot of problems. If I am in love with this girl, let me take her to school, because I will be making my wife to become independent, just in case if I dies. If God would have given us some kids, she will be able to take care of our kids, not for another man to take advantage of her. So I then called her one day and I told her my plan. I said, look, I want to get married to you. I have thought about it. And she said, even if you want today, we can return together back to your house if you want to make me your wife. And I said, not now. What we can do right now is that I can send you back to school, and at the same time I'll be organizing some money so that I can pay for your bride price. Because when I had met up with her parents, I saw that there were people who were well respected in the community, so I didn't want them to feel disappointed. I wanted to do everything according to the African way. I wanted them to know that I truly loved and respected their daughter. That was when we decided to go and speak with her parents. When I went there, we arranged everything, but this was an informal arrangement without a contract, without anything being written on paper. After that, that was when they said that they were going to make sure that my girlfriend, she was not going to date another man until I had paid for her bride price and she was going to become my wife. So this is what I started doing. I started paying for her college education, and after she had graduated from college already, my brother, I had saved enough money. Then I went and I paid for her bride price with my relatives. After that, we then started staying as husband and wife, and we were really happy for a couple of months, my brother. I enjoyed this thing that is called marriage. But after she had fallen pregnant. I don't know if this pregnancy came with bad luck, because when she fell pregnant, that was when I lost my job, and for me to get another job, it was proving to be very difficult for me. And when she was still pregnant like that, she said, my husband, instead of us just staying at home and suffering like this, please just prepare some CVs for me so that you can go and drop them around, and if I get a job, then we will have something to eat. At that time, we didn't have anything for the kid. There was no preparation at all. After I had gone around dropping her CVs at local banks, that was when one day we received a phone call, and after she had spoken with that company that wanted her to come for an interview, we were really excited because this was an investment company, and quickly she was earning like a decent salary. Within a couple of months, she was already driving a brand new car, and as a woman who was now working, she was now responsible for the house. And when she went on maternity leave after she had given birth, my brother, that was when I started to see that hell had came from hell, and I was now experiencing hell right here on earth, because after she had given birth, she didn't want me to be close to her. Sometimes she would refuse to feed the baby. The baby would cry for hours and hours, and she would be sitting on her laptop, and whenever I would try to make her to feed the baby, she would complain, and she would say that unlike other men, I do not even know how to take care of her. I don't even know how to meet all of her needs. The only time I was a man to her, she said, when you are in bed, that is when I can say that I have a man. But in other aspects of my life, I am just living as a single mom. I am a husband and a wife to myself. She will say that I am working so that you can eat, and after you've eaten, you can go to the toilet and make the toilet to smell. When you are in the toilet, the whole house will smell. When you are in the toilet, because of the food that you eat throughout the day, the whole house will be smelling, because you cannot even go out and look for a job. So all of the food that you'll be eating will stay in your stomach, and when you go to the toilet, it will be smelling so much. Those are the kind of insults that I used to receive from this woman that I had taken to college, this woman that I had prepared a CV for, the same woman that I had gone around walking sometimes on foot, dropping her CVs. She was the one who was saying that whenever I'll be in the toilet, I make the whole house to smell. Me and my wife, we started to fight a lot, and after she said that she wanted to return back to work, I said, but our child is still young. Don't you think that our baby still needs a mom? She then said that if the baby needs her mom, then who is going to feed you? Who is going to feed me? So my brother, I let her to go back to work, and after she had gone back to work, sometimes she would come back home late at night, and as a good husband, I would try to prepare water for her so that she can bath. The baby will be clean and everything. But things were really hard. Sometimes she would come back late at night when I would have fallen asleep because I was always exhausted. Sometimes she will call me and she will say that tonight I'll be working late, and she will come back home somewhere around past 10 in the evening. As for her car, now that I didn't have a car, if I wanted to go somewhere, if I would use a car, she would start complaining, and when I would return that car, she would say that this car is dirty, why didn't you clean my car? Sometimes when she would return back from work, she would refuse to play with the baby, and she would say that I am too tired. And this was the life that I was living at that time. We could go for months and months, and she would even refuse if I would try to touch her. She would complain, and like always, she would say that I am too tired to do all of those things that you want me to do. And she ended up not sleeping in the bedroom, and she would take her laptop and she would start working while sitting in the living room. Sometimes when I would wake up the next morning, I would find her sleeping on the couch in the living room. And when I tried to go and speak with her parents to tell them everything that was happening in my marriage, her parents surprised me, my brother. They started insulting me, and the father said that I was supposed to act like a man instead of complaining. I had to go out there and look for work. That is how I lost control, because on that day when I had gone to complain to her parents, I had gone with her, and she then said that I am not going back with him. She refused to come back to our house, and she started staying with her parents. But what she would do is that she would stay with her parents like for 3 weeks, then she would return and stay with me for something like 3 days. And in those 3 days, she would refuse to have intercourse with me. That was the kind of a life that I was living. I then started hearing rumors that she was now dating another guy. This really broke me, my brother. I had never been heartbroken like that. I wanted to go and burn her parents' house down. When she suspected that I had heard the rumors that she was now dating another guy, that was why she was refusing to come back home. And she then called me and she told me that she wanted to give me a divorce, and she wanted to have a peace order that was supposed to be there between me and her. I was heartbroken because I had never been violent towards her, and she said that she had already gone to the police station and she had gotten that peace order. And when I started to think of all the money that I had used when I was sending her to college, marrying her, and the sacrifices that I had done, and now that I could not work anymore, this was just tough for me. That was when one of my friends one day, when we were just drinking beer, because I was now more like a drunkard, I just wanted to remove all of that pain that I was going through. When we were drinking, I still remember the joke that my friend said. He then said that these women, the type of that woman that you got married to, they need to be fixed so that they won't go around thinking that they are too intelligent. That woman needs to be fixed. So that idea then remained in my mind, even though I had heard him speaking about this thing when he was drunk, but it got stuck into my mind. I kept on thinking of ways of fixing her and fixing her family. At first, I thought maybe I should hire a hitman so that she can be killed or something, but I didn't want to do anything that will end up with me being in prison, and I didn't want to be arrested. I kept on thinking until I started researching, and I met a man who said that he knew how to bring back lost lovers. After I had visited that man and after I had a consultation with him, and the man said that he knew how to bring back my wife if I wanted. But when we entered into that man's consulting room, when he said that he was no longer speaking in the physical form, he was now in the spirit, then that man opened up this other curtain, and at the back of that curtain there was a very big mirror. This mirror, it looked like a TV, and this mirror, the way that it operates, you can see anything that you tell the mirror to show you. So that man said that of course he sees that he can do that bring back lost lover ritual for me, but he said that first of all, I want you to show you what your ex-wife is up to so that you can make a proper decision. When I look at that mirror, when I was looking at my wife's life, the life that she was now living, I saw that even if I bring her back into my life, I will never be able to control her because she was now out of control. She was even cheating on the man that she was dating. She was now into partying, going to clubs, drinking alcohol. She was even a smoker now. She would smoke in her car, then she would get indoors. As for her parents, they didn't even suspect that this is what their daughter was doing. When I was looking in the mirror And when I was seeing everything that my ex-wife was now up to, that was when that priest said that if you want me to punish this woman, I can do it for you. That is what we ended up doing. I punished my ex-wife, and we used some juju, and I gave him the go-ahead, and that priest punished my wife. And I said, you are not going to punish my ex-wife only. I want you to punish the family as well. Anyone who used my money when I was paying for her bride price, I want them all to be punished. That priest then started boiling some needles right there in his consulting room. He sent one of his assistants to go and get a pot. There are those metallic big pots, and after his assistant had gone and taken that big metallic pot, I saw that there was a fire that started burning. This fire started burning almost in the middle of the room, but this fire that was now burning, it was not even producing any smoke or anything. And he poured in some water into that metallic big pot, and when the water started boiling, he then took out some needles, and he said that, show me your hands, and he quickly stabbed me with those needles. It was really painful, and after he had stabbed me with the needles, he looked at the needles to see if indeed there was blood on the needles. When he saw that one of the needles didn't have blood, he proceeded again with stabbing me on my hand, and it was painful. He dropped those needles into that boiling pot, and he said, for you to punish someone, you also need to punish yourself so that the punishment can be accepted in the spirit world. My brother, even right now, when I look at my fingers, if I show you my fingers, they are full of scars from the way that the needles were burning me. It was really painful because after you would have boiled those needles, you would place those hot needles on the floor, and I was supposed to pick them up. I was not supposed to wait until they had gone cold. I had to pick them up with my hands until I had to pick them up whilst they were still hot, and my wife's image all along her whole body was appearing on that mirror. That priest said that you have to stab her with needles wherever you feel like you have to stab her with a needle. And when I would drop down a needle because it was too hot, you would say that this one you cannot use it, so you would pick it up to show you that these needles were hot. He was using a cloth to pick up those needles, and he would drop them into that boiling pot. So I kept on stabbing and stabbing my ex-wife's body that was appearing on that mirror. After I was done, when I was looking at my fingers, they were full of blisters and they were really painful. Those wounds, they failed to heal because when I was touching those hot needles, those needles, they were like eating up a little bit of my skin on my fingers. After I was done, he told me the price. It was not quite a lot, and I was happy to pay it. And he then did some rituals for me so that I can get a job. When I returned back from that priest, I quickly found a job and I started working, and I got married again. As for my wife, she is still alive, and she is suffering from a disease that is not common. In our area, I can say that she is the only person who is known to have suffered from leprosy. Right now, she is at this other missionary hospital that is here in our country. It is a Roman Catholic missionary hospital. That is where she is right now. She is suffering from leprosy, my brother. And as for her family, that priest then said that he had placed a curse on their life. So what will happen in my ex-wife's family is that the moment that my ex-wife is going to die, that is when the curse will start to operate. That is when the spirit will start to torment all the girls that will be born into that family soon after my wife has died, and there will be no girl in that family who will ever be able to enjoy a thing that is called love, because at their time of their birth, all of the girls that will be born into my ex-wife's family, they will be married off to that spiritual husband. I did all of this, my brother, out of revenge.